Billy Joe, I feel offended. Are we about to get some woo? I am about to take you into the deep woo. Oh my word. I was having such a blast towards the end of the show on TFR. I thought, I'm going to be a little bit cheeky here. I'm going to be holding on to the guest. I'm going to be dragging Jimmy Jeans back in as well. And we are going to get into some good Thursday night woo. Yes, indeedy. There we are. We're all back, boys. We're all in one piece. My fire's about to turn itself off in a minute. I'm going to fix that. We've got Jimmy Jeans here, and there he is, the man himself. The intrepid paranormal researcher, Jason. And tonight, we're going to be going back over briefly one of the stories that we covered on the Kev Baker show on TFR. And it's to do with some of the deepest woo that I've had in a half hour of radio on the show ever. It's got hellhounds, it's got everything. Jason's also got other ghosty, weird, woo-type stories for us. But before we get there, the main man, Jimmy Jeans, he's back riding shotgun. How you doing, big man?
I'm doing fantastic. Hopefully you can hear me.
I can, dude. Yes, I've been trying my hardest in the background. Since I have the problem with your audio, I thought I'll take it on myself to fix your audio. And there's no Mac issues with feedback happening. Okay. Now, Jason, if you can turn me down 1 or 2, that would be even. Now, Jason's thinking, oh my word, this guy's OCD is way above the score. But yes, I have been trying to track down your audio problem, Jimmy, and I'm getting closer. I'm getting closer to fixing it. You're going to have to tell me what kind of version of Mac you've got, what software you've got, and I will get you the patch you need, my friend. Because it's my OCD that's triggered, so I'm the one that will get it fixed out. And of course, tonight we've got different shaped cameras. I didn't realize I had OCD until I started doing streaming. Everything's got to be straight lines and parallel, and oh man, I felt vertigo when I seen Jason's camera earlier. I'm feeling good now, Jason. How you doing, man? It's great to see you. It's great to have you on the live stream. And thank you so much for everything you put together tonight. How you doing? How's things?
Oh, good, Kev. Thanks. How are you?
I'm very, very good. Right, I'm going to take you back to basics before you run us over the hellhounds, right? How on earth's name did a guy like you end up going down the rabbit hole that led you to creep about investigating scary graveyards, weird churches, tunnels that were used in World War II? How did you get into this, man?
Well, I've always been into UFOs and stuff like that as a kid. My first book was Timothy Good's Above Top Secret in the 90s.
Right.
I think I must have been about 15 or 16 when I read that one. And always been into woo subjects. And when I was about 19 or 20, I was experimenting with meditation. So I was reading a lot of Freud and Jung at the time, and doing the old deep meditation where you think you're in the cave and you're trying to find your spirit guide, and then you're meant to see your animal. And I was doing a lot of that. And one night while I was doing it, I seen a shadow figure in the corner of the room. And this is at my mum's place at the time. So it comes from the doorway, walks into the room. Now I'm completely petrified, can't move, frozen. It comes over to me, bends over, and it's literally got its face next to my face. So that happened to me then. Nothing else went on. Didn't really think about it in the 20s, carried on with my life, 30s, partying, having fun. And then obviously I've always been into stuff, found your channel, got to meet everyone. And then I thought I'd go and try a bit of ghost hunting. I thought I'd try and film it, see if it comes out any good. So, and that's why I started.
Oh, awesome. Jimmy, you hearing this? You getting a load of this, man? When I first came across Jason, Jimmy, I got that feeling, that gut, you know, that one. I kind of describe it, that feeling you've known somebody, right? Or at least somebody, you know, you're instantly going to get on with. You're on the same vibe. Not only that, but when you look at his channel, and we're going to take a look at some of his footage as we go on here. But
Cool.
What an eye for this kind of thing. And not only that, he takes science into the equation as well. So we've got woo, we've got science, and Jimmy, you're about to learn about some hellhounds. Couldn't be any better, right?
Nice. Well, I'm always up for a little hellhound action.
A little
Call
bit
out
of
day.
hellhoundery.
Exactly.
Now
That's a
Now
good one.
what
Yes.
happens to your cougar pen when a hellhound walks into the ranch?
I'm
Yeah,
not
exactly.
sure, but I'll tell you this: I'm the big wolf in the field over here. So if the hellhound wants to step up to the plate, I'll do some gnawing on some legs, like a barbecue.
There's only one four-legged thing getting near your cougars, Jimmy, right? It's you. But anyway, before we go into a totally different subject, yeah. Now, talk to me because hellhounds,
Yeah.
buckfast. Come on, dude, take it away,
The
man.
reason I started all this is because I live near Dartmoor, just on the outskirts of Plymouth. So we got so many legends down here and stories that I wanted to go to some of these places. And obviously, because some man in China had a bat, I wasn't able to. Sorry. So I thought, I'll put some of the stories on. So the next one I'm doing, which is coming this weekend, you've actually covered. Do you remember the night Armin told you the story about the hairy hands?
Oh, that is gonna live with me
Yeah.
forever. We had we remember like when we had memberships, we had the hairy hands icon and everything,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah. So that night, remember, you spoke to him about the hairy hands. He posted the story, and then afterwards, you done the devil's footprints.
Yep.
So that's my next video about the devil walking across the moors from Exmoor to Dartmoor and on. So there's loads of legends down here. So, but they're all really near me. So I used to deliver to the Buckfast Abbey when I was a delivery driver, and I didn't even know about this place down the road where Buckfastly Church is. And I certainly didn't know its history, Kev, or what was coming when I started to research it.
No blooming wonder. Now, I've got your pictures that we were talking about earlier on. I've got the first one queued up here. But give Jimmy a little taste of what the kind of area is like down in England, around Dartmoor and things like that, you know?
So I live down in Devon, right on Dartmoor. I'm really close to Cornwall as well. I'm on the border, so I've got that as well. So we're quite near. I'm only about an hour and a half away from Salisbury and places like that. So you're talking about Devon, Dorset, the southwest of England, along the Jurassic Park, and we've got all the moors and the parks down here. You've got Bodmin Moor, Dartmoor, Exmoor. So yeah, it's all really old country. It goes back to Bronze Age times.
Yeah, it's like
Nice.
steeped in history.
Yeah.
And you've got a lot of like military down this neck of the woods as well, Jimmy.
Yeah, yeah.
Lots of it. So take us in.
So I started to research about this church in Buckfastly. It's called the Holy Trinity Church. But before I start there is a story about the moors of God and devil doing a battle. And at the end of it, God gives the devil two tours. One is Brentor, where there's a church. I'm going to be covering that story another time. The Buckfastly tour. So the residents wanted to build a church on this tour. So they started to take the materials up, and every morning they would come back and the materials would be left at the bottom of the hill again by the devil. And this went on and on. So they decided to build 196 steps, because apparently the devil wouldn't ascend the stairway because it's heavenly, and that's what stopped him from going on to the tour. So they built the tour. The earliest indication we've got is that the original abbey at Buckfast was there at least 1018 and before a Saxon church. After the Normans came in 1088, they pulled that down and put up their first church, which is the Holy Trinity Church. So that's a bit of background about the place. Also, there's some caves underneath directly, and they're called Reed Caves, and they're about 3.5 kilometres long. And there's stories of witches and druids, and this place goes back to early Iron Age and Bronze Age, man. And there's lots of stories. There's a famous poem about the devil riding with a witch from that cave, and they went across the moors. So that's a little bit of background about the place and the myths. So they build the church, and in between the church being built and the 1600s, there's lots of reports of witchcraft and things going on in the caves, general satanic stuff and bad stuff. So we get to the 1600s, and we get a family called the Cable family. Now, in particular, we have Squire Richard Cable, who was Squire of Buckfastleigh Church. He was said to be a horrible man, a drunk, a wife beater. He was unfaithful, not a very nice man. And one night he had a fight with his wife and accused her of being unfaithful. So she flees to the moors and he follows her, and a fight ensues and he stabs her to death. But her faithful hound had followed him onto the moors, and he takes Richard Cable's life by biting him in the throat. But Richard Cable always also kills the dog while they're fighting, so all three die. So he was buried on the 15th of July, 1677. Now, originally there was a tomb there. It's the oldest tomb in England, and the tomb is inside this tomb here. This is the one built later. The tomb originally was put a slab on top and a big tomb to keep Richard Cable in. Now, on the night of his burial, there's a rumour that, there's a myth that the hellhounds came baying across the moors to pick up his remains, his soul. So lots of things were seen about this place, hellhounds, demons, witchcraft was going on. People were still using it because they believed it was a portal to hell. So the village built that tomb on the left, you can see with the bars around the original tomb to keep the soul of Richard Cable in and the devil. So we move on a bit later, and then this is when things start happening to the church. So in the 18 and 1900s, we've got reports of body snatching. So because it's a secluded place and the steps and the turrets on, it was a great place for body snatchers to steal bodies without getting caught.
Body snatching, Jimmy. Literally body snatching, dude.
So they were stealing the bodies to go to the new hospital in Exeter and Plymouth to do whatever they did with the bodies. So that was going on. In 1849, we have a fire. Now, this fire was set by arsonists. They broke in through the vestry and set the vestry on fire, and quite a lot of the church was damaged. They found satanic stuff on the walls, the reports, and also there was 3 iron bars found outside where they broke in. So they fixed the church, move on. We move on to 1884 now, and the spire was hit by lightning and destroyed. So now they've repaired that, and we move on to the Second World War, where it was bombed and the windows completely smashed by the Germans. They repair that, and we move on to July the 21st, 1992. And the church was broken into and set alight. They set the Norman font alight, which unfortunately completely destroyed the church. If you see here, there's some pictures there that Kev's just getting. You can see the picture of the church burnt out. And then the next one is when it's been renovated, and now you can go there. So, they broke in, burnt the church down. They blamed it on Satanists again because stuff had been going on. So we move forward a little bit to 2003, and that's when they find the remains of animals slaughtered on Richard Cable's tomb, and Satanist signs in blood on the tomb and stuff. So
I think we've got a picture of the tomb here as well, don't we? Yeah, that's it here. Yeah, I'll bring this up now.
Yeah, that's the tomb, and then they enclosed it with the one with the metal bars to keep him at bay. So that was the original one he was buried in.
There's the big metal block over the top, and the big stone. Sorry, big stone. That's crazy, dude.
And then, even then, things were happening. So they built the tomb around it with the bars to keep his soul in.
This one here. Look at that. You can see the bars on the window there, man. Oh, wow. Jimmy, what do you think of this so far, Jimmy? And by the way, we're not really getting to the good bits yet. So, Jimmy, come on. We've got spooky kind of place. We've got the church. All this kind of stuff around it. What's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying the background information because I've never heard anything about this before, and so I'm enjoying, learning all about what's going on. Getting ready to get up to the point where you went over here, right?
No, I'm going here soon. I've just found this place, and it's only about half an hour away.
Wow.
How lucky is that? I mean, you're right in ground zero for all the stuff that you're into, man.
Yeah. Whether the myths are true or not, if you think we've still got a Saxon burial point, Norman burials for 800 years this church was there. Before that, you had the burials of Bronze Age men. Not only that, you've got body snatchers, which I think have probably unsettled the graveyard. You've got a burnt out church,
You've got
Satanism going
you've
on
got
there.
these steps as well that you talked
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, the 196 steps that they built to follow the devil. So you got that. You've got the cave system underneath, where if you want to show the little man now, Kev.
This is the most bizarre yet, Jimmy. Wait to see this. And there was people in the TFR chat room who have done like geology, and they've never seen anything quite like this before. Check that out.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it, Kev? Whatever it is.
Stalagmite into stalactites, right?
Yes. So Jimmy, the cave system underneath what I mentioned, Reed Caves, where they reckon witchcraft and Saxon man used Iron Man, Bronze Age. It's been used all the way through history. Wow. This stalagmite and stalactite formed to show what looks like a 17th century man with a hat and a body and clothes of the 17th century, which would tie into Richard Cable. But the weirdest thing is, this is directly underneath Cable's tomb. They've worked it out by Geology, and they worked it out in 2003 to 2005. They did excavations. And one of the things they learned was this is directly under the tomb of Cable.
Dang,
Wow.
dude, that's unbelievable. I've never seen anything quite like that. Nature doesn't... I mean, nature produces some lovely things, right? But that there, and then you add it to the location, like directly below this, like creepy dude. I don't know, man. It's like weird.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And this place, and also it's just off the charts, this place with myths and stuff that's going on. So we move into this Arthur Conan Doyle part of this story now. So Arthur Conan Doyle was with his friend Bertram Fletcher Robinson. They're coming back from Africa, as you do in the 1900s. And Bertram Robinson tells him the story of Richard Cable and the Hell Hounds, because Richard Cable comes from Ippleton, which isn't too far away. So he tells Arthur Conan Doyle these stories. And the next year, in 1901, Arthur Conan Doyle visits Princetown. Now, Princetown's halfway between Tavistock and Plymouth, and it's where Dartmoor prison is, and you'll know it because it's in Hound of the Baskervilles. Now, he went to Buckfastleigh Church, I found out, to investigate Richard Cable's tomb and to get the story. And his coach driver on the way was Baskerville. So he's based this story behind Richard Cable, the Hell Hounds, and his driver happened to be called Baskerville, and he named his main character Sir Hugo Baskerville. So that's how we get the Hound of the Baskervilles.
Absolutely awesome. Jimmy, did you have any idea, dude? I mean, the Hounds of the Baskervilles, I think everyone's heard of that, right? I didn't appreciate the kind of the lore, the facts behind it.
No, me neither. Wasn't it written into a Sherlock Holmes?
Yeah. One of his most infamous ones, dude. And I was laughing on the show because Anne and Kevin thought it was hysterical. Oh.
Y'all are the best. Thanks for being you, Kev. You are so loved.
Oh, Connie, I love you right back. And honestly, listen, if it wasn't for you people out there, my life would be so dull because I get so much away from the super chats and everything. Jimmy knows what it's like. This is like our little family. This is our crew we've got here. And I don't know. I can't think of better people to be riding shotgun with through the apocalypse. So listen, we're all happy here. And I'm loving having Jimmy on with us. And I'm so grateful to you, Jason, for taking time out. I mean, that's 1:45 over here in the UK. I know over in the US where we've got a lot of listeners, they'll be just getting into the nice time of night now for listening to this stuff. Down in Australia, they've just had their breakfast or they're having their breakfast and things. Daytime, morning time woo, Jason. Going all the way around the world. And I know we are because we've got Mammoth and Luna in the chat as well. So big shout out to everyone down under. I wonder if they've got hellhounds down there. Do you think they've got hell dingoes? Demon dingoes, right? G'day, demon dingo.
Haven't they got the bunyip, isn't it? The
bunyip.
Yeah, that's it.
Right, before you go anywhere, we must show people what the bunyip looks like, because the bunyip is the weirdest looking cryptid in the world. Here it is. Only in Australia do you get a beastie that looks like that. Look at that thing. Jimmy, imagine, right? You're coming home, you've had a night on the beach, you know, bit of a fire. obviously I'm setting this in a timeline where we're allowed out the house, and you know, you're coming back, you're making your way home, you know, maybe walking home with one of your newest cubs for the cougar pen, and all of a sudden this thing climbs out of the undergrowth beside you. Now granted, you don't live in Australia, but imagine it, dude.
Well, from what I heard, I don't think you want to leave your babies anywhere near dingoes. I think dingoes enjoy eating babies.
Look at that thing! Look! Dude, the bunyip was bad enough when it looked like that. Now look what it looks like. Holy shimoly! Oh no, this thing's terrifying. That's like a saber-toothed bunyip, right? Only in Australia. But, Jason, you were telling me. Now, we've got footage. We can go and look at your channel as well. This is Jason's channel here. I'm going to drop it in the chat.
I didn't know if you wanted to know about Vixen Tour one, Kev, as well.
Yeah, of course, dude. Of course, man. It's all good woo. Take us into Vixen Tour.
Well, that's the other video I've done. Like I said, I'm doing a Dartmoor series. It's going to be a Hairy Hounds one. You've got this coming this week. I've got the Devil's Footprints. And I mentioned earlier Brentor. I'm going to do a story on. It's the Merchant and the Devil, that story, in the Church of Brentor. So that's one to come. And also, I've just done Vixen Tour. Now, I didn't really know about this place, and it's only not even 10 miles away from my house. I've never heard of it. I've never heard of this tour, and it really took my interest.
You see now, did this tour always exist on this timeline? Or I'm only joking, man. I'm only joking.
So it's actually called the Sphinx of Dartmoor. Now, that's the first picture I put in your Discord, Kev.
Okay,
Don't know
now,
if you want to show everyone what it looks like.
Give me 2 seconds here. I'll bring up the disco and I'll grab the picture. So this is picture number 1, yeah?
Yeah, this would be the...
yeah, there it is.
Yeah, the Sphinx.
Right, let me pull this up over here. And we'll get people scared of the bunyip. No wonder when it looks like that. But if we pull this up and I bring this over, there you go.
Yeah, so this is called the Sphinx of Dartmoor. I've never heard of it. And since I've done my video, I've asked loads of people on the phone, my friends, family, if they've ever heard it, and they haven't. And considering how close we are, I thought we would have, but this is part of the story. So it's in between Princetown and Tavistock that we talked about earlier. And there's a story of Vixiana the witch. So we've got a witch that used to live there. We haven't got any timeline for the myth. And when I looked, it's well in front of the 1801, because 1801 was the first time this tour was climbed. Because on the back of that picture, it drops to 100 meters. It's one of the biggest tours on the moor, and it used to be rock climbed. So anyway, there's a witch here, and the story goes that Vixiana, she was so evil that she used to crush the birds of the moor's eggs. She was an all-round horrible witch, and she used to trick people into the tour when it used to get by casting a spell and putting fog across the moor. And she would call them out to them, pretending she was helping them, but really she was pulling them into the big bog. It's at the bottom of the tour.
How do you spell her name? How do you spell this name?
V-I-A, no, hang on, V-I-X.
Yep.
I-A-N-A. If you can't find it that way, you find it on Vixen
I've got it there, yeah.
Yeah, so Vixiana, she used to trick the culprits into the moor, clear the fog so she could watch their last moments as they drowned in the bog. So a brave young man, a brave young handsome man, the myth goes, is not afraid of her, so he goes to challenge her. And the reason he's not afraid is because one night when he's walking across the moors, he helped a piskie, which is the Cornish word, even though we're in Devon, for pixie. So he helps a pixie out of a bog, and they award him with 2 presents. Now, the first present is you can see through the fog and mist, which is really handy on the moors. And the second one is a ring that can make him invisible. So he goes to visit the witch. She sees him coming, cast of really thick fog, and he just carries on because he can see. Now, she gets really angry, casts an even bigger fog. He just walks his way through it. So all of a sudden, he puts the visible ring on, gets to the top of the tour. She's screaming in anger because she can't find him, and he ends up pushing her off the cliff. And that's the story of Vixiana, which I thought was quite cool. So when I looked into what I can find out about it, the mystery behind this place is even better. I couldn't really find much about it. There's a bit saying that there was excavations done and that Bronze Age man used to bury their men underneath the tor. I couldn't really find any information about that. Then I looked into if we could go there, and apparently it's privately owned. It was first climbed in 1801. There's records of the first climber, Mr. Bray, and they climbed this rock up to the 1921s, if you look on the British climbing records. And also the Rambler Society were here to the 1970s when it was passed into private ownership. Now, no one knows who owned it, and it was sold in 2003 to a lady. And eventually, she was taken to court in 2004, 2005 by the Dartmoor National Park, Devon County Council, Rambler Society, like the Rock Climber Society, because it's a national park and they claim that it should be free to go on the tour. And the judge ruled with the person that owns the place. So no one's actually allowed to go there. And not many people know about this place. And there's a real weird back history to the place, and like it's involved in witchcraft and stuff like that. But you can't even go there, and there's not much written about it, just a few records here and there.
That makes it weirder.
Yeah. My alarm bells are going off because you're not allowed to go there. Well, why not? Why can't I find much information about this place? They say they've done an excavation, but I can't find any records on it. So how do they know Bronze Age man was buried there? I'm just assuming that they did it. How do they? It's just a real weird place, Kev. It went into private hands and then it just went secret then.
Jimmy, what do you make of this, man? I mean,
I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, I mean, you're such a well-informed person on this. I'm thinking you ought to start, when this is over, that you ought to start a business where people fly in and you take them around and show them some of these spots, man, because literally, seriously, I mean, you guys are so lucky to be where you are, because here in America, there's really nothing like that.
I don't know, dude. I mean, I've come to learn. I mean, I never had any idea that there was like earthworks in America. But of course there is. You've got the Great Serpent Mound. You've got a lot of stuff over there, you know. And I know it's crazy, right? We say America is people say it's such a young country. Okay, right, whatever. Since we've been naming them, putting lines on a map, maybe, but there's nothing young about any country, you know, right? Any piece of land. So every bit of land's got its own kind of stories, its own people to tell. And I get it over here. It's more condensed. It's part of life, basically. But don't take anything away from the woo you've got locally, Jimmy, because there's a lot of stuff, you know.
I just mean that, some of these churches and these cathedrals and stuff that, I mean, even though there's things here that were built, sort of similar, there's just absolutely nothing like the architecture that's in Europe. I mean, like I said, in America, I mean, they tried to copy what they saw. Some of those people came over here, but anything that's here it doesn't have literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years of history, and so many different styles of people have lived in these areas. I often wonder how many of these churches are even have any, originally weren't even built to house the body of Christ. I think they were there for other reasons. What do you think about that, Jason? Do you think some of these churches were built to worship in other ways other than Christ? What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Like Scotland, Kev, we've got the Moors has got the stone circles. There's 160 tools and they're all different. And then I'm assuming Bronze Age man they considered the tools to be sacred. If you look at the Sphinx one of the arguments was when they were in court that the fact is, if you say the Sphinx of Dartmoor, how famous would that be? And hardly anyone knows about it. And it's just weird that they're trying to hide it. And I just think all of these were used by Bronze Age man for, I don't know what they were using them for. They put them all in special places. They knew about ley lines.
I see them as like, you know how when we do acupuncture on the human body, we've got the meridian system, I think they call it, and you tap into certain places. I think there's part of me thinks that that's what they're doing with these earthworks and big stoneworks as well. Almost like tapping into an energy source, like a node. And
Yeah,
then,
definitely.
yeah, and even like Jimmy was saying as well, when they built all the big Gothic churches and everything across Europe, you find a lot of them. I think there's one called the Rose Ley Line. It takes you all over into France and everything else.
Yeah.
And I would imagine, you know, just like these works here, building these stone structures in the right place, if they're just over the right hotspot and you know what you're doing, and you've got all the geometry that's been hidden away from the public, that passed down through the mystery schools, the Templars, they come over here with the knowledge they stole from the Middle East and everything else from all that ancient stuff, and bada bing, bada boom, you've got some real woo in the room, know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and I think that's why you also find, back in the day, I get the acoustical thing. You know how they say, like, they changed the frequency of the music, and they did. And these big temples and things, even when we were in Rosslyn Chapel, just whispering in that place, and the acoustics is crazy. It's nuts. Do you know what I mean? You could literally be talking in one corner of that building and have your back to the room. Nobody would see you or hear you talking. But in another bit of the building, it's going to be funneled and it'll be amplified and somebody will be able to hear it perfectly. It's so weird. And then you add to that the energy, and people say, oh, you go to church, you get that religious kind of spiritual feeling. Well, I definitely think they were getting some kind of feeling. The acoustics, where it's placed. I don't know if it was anything spiritual or if it was more, you know, energetic. It's crazy, but good woo.
Yeah, definitely, Kev. It's definitely something going on, and they know what was going on back then.
And Jimmy, you bound to like this kind of woo.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I mean, to me, this is how they open up this is how they open up the stairway to heaven. I mean, if you ask me, this would be how to do it. They generate, or they oscillate and harmonize some tone that inside. That's what makes that architecture sacred, right? It's not the fact that they can build arches and that, you know, they can build nice looking buildings. It's the secret of the acoustics that's inside. It's the sacred architecture. Yeah. So I mean, someday I'd like to come over there, you know.
Me, you, and Jason. Oh yes, do a magical mystery tour of all the hotspots in the UK. Think of the amount of lists we would end up on then. But there's something in the back of my mind troubling me. It's not troubling me, but it's puzzling me. How is it you and all of your friends, Jason, who live within half an hour of this place, have never bloody heard of it? What's that all about?
I know, it's weird. You think that the argument in court was it's a national treasure. It's the Sphinx of Dartmoor, and hardly anyone's heard of it.
I've never heard of that in my life. Never heard of that.
No. And the argument was, and why they won in court, is because they claimed that the insurance would be too high. So Dartmoor said you could charge £3 an entry to get this and get your money back within a couple of months, because people would flock here. It's unique.
That's you could picture people. I mean, people go to Stonehenge. That place is crazy. That would be just as popular. I mean, you're not a million miles away from it.
Yeah. When I was looking, I can't remember the date, but there was a law passed that all parts of the moors, even if they were private now, could be walked on, to do with the public highways law and access, because it's a national park, and 15% is owned by the army, and then it's split up between the national park, Devon Council, and different parts and associations. But this tour's private, and no other one is.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't remember ever sleeping under the stars next to this thing when I was down in Dartmoor.
Yeah, I know. That's why I found the story really unique. And then the fact that I can't go there, well, why can't you go there? That's just intriguing. And who owns it? I can't find out. So I am going to do some more investigating on this place.
You see, not allowed to go there, Jimmy. Hard to track down who owns it. The Sphinx of Dartmoor, that should be a thing everyone's heard of. And Jason, who lives at, pardon the pun, a stone's throw away, only just recently hears about it. What's going on, dude?
I know. It's wild. It's like, you know, some of that stuff that happens over here with the Grand Canyon. You know, the Grand Canyon supposedly has got a bunch of stuff in it, but nobody knows about it.
I've heard about that, man. What do you make of that? I mean, hieroglyphs, weird stuff. What's going on? Was there some, like, kind of transfer of knowledge, or what's going on?
I'm not really sure about it. I mean, like I said, it's pretty sketchy as far as you being able to see anything about it. I had Richard Allen Miller on my show once.
The doc.
Yeah, and I had him on to talk about whirling dervishes and stopping space-time. That was what he was coming on to talk about.
As you do.
He came on and talked about the Grand Canyon the whole time.
So what was he saying about it, man?
I never aired it, and I've never listened to it again. So it's the very first interview I ever did on my show. So we never aired it. I still have the recordings. I should bring it. I should get it and bring it.
We should listen to it here sometime one weekend, dude.
Yeah, because like I said, I've never listened to it. It's over an hour of him basically just talking about the Grand Canyon.
Doc Miller wants to come back on KBS. He loves his time with his favourite Irish friend.
Hell yeah. Well, you know what? You're not Irish.
I know that, but it's okay because other people call me Dave, so it's all right.
But
maybe Dave's Irish.
Maybe you could get him to talk about some of those giants in the Grand Canyon, because he's got a lot of information about it. But honestly, I've never heard him talk about it again since. And I'm a big fan of the doc. I like to listen to him when I hear him on. So, but some of these things here, and it's another thing too. Is another friend of yours, a friend of the show, the Christopher Everard. I mean, that dude blows me away. How he just, I don't understand. The dude just like ends up someplace in some weird town no one's ever heard of, and he just absolutely finds some place just like this. It's like some weird little chapel, and he walks in there, and it's like, the text from the Last Supper of the Devil.
Some grimoire. I tell you what.
Yeah, he stumbles onto it.
Chris Everard is he's like the Indiana Jones of woo. Like you say, man, he can go to any part of the planet, stumble into some village nobody's heard of, and he'll uncover the most amazing woo. But Jason, you little paranormal researcher, if we come back over here, you've been doing your investigations, right? So
Yeah.
what one do you think we should pull up and take a look at, man?
Put part 1 of Drakelow on, please, Kev.
Is that this one here? That's part 2. Hang on, there it is there. Yep. Okay, now then.
You might want to turn it down. My sound effects are quite loud at the beginning, Kev.
I know. I noticed that. I shat myself one time when I listened to it.
So I'll do my intro, and then in 30 seconds in, that's when all the glass
Okay.
getting starts.
Hey, hang on now. We want to listen to the master at work here. Come on now. Don't be talking over yourself. Here we go.
Built in 1941 by Rover to help with the war effort. After the war, the tunnels were turned into a nuclear bunker.
That's the map of the site,
You
Kev.
see. Now listen. You see, Jimmy. Remember I was saying to you before the show that there's this looks like some slick produced thing. It's all done on an app.
It is. I mean, I can't wait. Go ahead, roll that.
I'm going to roll it for a few minutes to get it going, Jason, then I'll come back to you. I just want to get an impression of the place, right? And
Yeah,
your good work here. And algorithm. Algorithm. This is the guy's channel, him just there. So I have permission. Don't try and strike me, algorithm. Okay? Dang thing doesn't understand. You gotta sometimes talk to it. I know people, I'm mad, but it's what I do.
So we go to the medical ward first, Kev, and do some glass spinning.
Oh, here we go, Jimmy, in a bit of this. Oh, hang on, I need a...
Anyone else you'd like to talk to?
Oh.
Can you do it faster? Round in a big circle, faster and faster.
See, if you pause it there, right, you can tell there's nobody's nail going white, Jimmy. And when you watch it, you can see that their fingers are loosely kind of... I get it, because I've done this myself years ago. And I can tell right away. There's the telltale signs when people push it. It doesn't feel right, but then you get times like this, right?
See, use our energy. That's it. Use our energy. Keep going faster. Is it me you want to speak to? Maybe you can make a noise for me.
So, can I ask, Jason, do you wear nappies on an investigation? Because at that point there, my trousers are filling up with brown, smelly stuff when a glass stops at me after I've asked it to.
I'm normally all right, Kev. There's been a couple of times I've been a bit wary. Up at Bodmin Jail, that was a bit freaky when I started walking off on my own and doing those 3 circles. Do you remember I told you about? And then not wanting to go downstairs and the lady having to come to get me, the psychic, and then making me break the circle.
No, see what I'm talking about, Jimmy? I tell you, man, freaky deaky stuff.
It's wild, man.
It is.
Yes, so we carry on doing a bit of glass spinning here.
Does it get going? Does it start?
Yeah, in a minute it starts really spinning in a minute.
Oh.
We get a little bit confused because I asked the question, can you pick yes or no? Because the man opposite us thinks that he's working out. We keep asking questions, it's going certain ways. So in the end, we say, go to yes, it goes to the lady next to me, and then I'm no. So then we start asking questions, are you like a male? It says yes. And then who do you want to talk to? And it keeps coming back to me.
Use energy, go faster and faster. See,
there's one point we get told to stop because we're going so fast. But that's the point I wanted the glass to fly off.
I've seen that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you make of that, Jimmy, when you see that? Do you think, A, it's some kind of subconscious telekinesis being produced by the circle? Or B, do you think it's some kind of energy entity that's feeding off the energy of the circle? Or 3, something else?
It to me, seeing it, it looks like the same type of phenomenon you would see on a Ouija board type operation where you're sitting in a circle trying to get some messages. So
this is a popular way we do it in the UK, Jimmy. This is a thing with us over here. We like the glass, no letters, guessing as you go. And I like how you got it to kind of go to a yes and no, though, Jason. That's interesting, man.
Yeah, well, I got us a bit confused because I asked the questions the wrong way around. I said, am I no? And it went to yes, and then yes, am I no? Then we got to get confused, and the bloke took over and said, go to yes, and then it finally went to the woman.
This is how I know you're like me. Were you in the chat one day when I told people to put 1 for something and 2 for the other thing, and I'd forgot which way I'd labelled them?
Yeah, Kev, yeah.
You see, we're the same, man. We're the same.
So we start asking some questions. It's coming to me. And then eventually we say, do you want to use the Ouija board? And it goes to the middle of the table.
Maybe you could make a sound.
Stops like dead in the middle between yes and no. So then it goes to yes. So we get the Ouija board. And I don't normally use them, but this was going so well. The board was just put on. I carried on. The Ouija board starts at about 8:45.
Da-da-ding, da-da-dung.
Trippy.
No, because it's quite a big glass.
I remote viewed it.
I would say if the glass goes like that, obviously it's
be
3 letters, it's whatever's directly in the middle.
Yeah.
Right, should we spin it again?
Yeah, they got us to spin the glass at first, and then you stop. So whether we're building kinetic energy and it's moving itself after that, maybe. But we stop it dead, and then we start asking questions.
That's weird, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whether we've caused that energy to build or whether it's something doing it.
And does everyone feel okay at this point? Nobody?
Yeah. There's a part where a woman says she's cold and I say, is that you? And it goes to yes. Where's that bit? We get some letters out of it. We ask its name and we get a C and an O. And then we ask, did you work here? It says yes. And then it put ADNEA. So whether that's abbreviation of some kind of unit or whether they couldn't spell, because someone told me you got to think back if you're talking to older spirits, they might not be able to spell properly.
Yeah, education wasn't exactly a wide thing the longer you go
Yeah.
back, you know? I never
Yeah.
even thought of that. I've never even thought of that in the past.
Yeah. So sometimes they can't spell what they want to be able to spell. So we do the Ouija board. So that started off in the medical unit. Then we go off on our own. So from 12:30 minutes in, I'm exactly here. I'm just about to go into the security office now. So if you leave this running for a couple of seconds, you'll see an orb in a minute.
So hopefully we'll start catching some good stuff.
About 12:48, a good one comes out the door.
That's what's down there.
But it's just pitch black, Kev, as you can see.
That's what's down there. It's pitch black.
Even with a torch, you can't see.
I don't think it could look any creepier.
Oh, that was the orb. Now let me just put that back. I'll put it on half speed.
Yeah, that's the little one I first caught, and then the better one comes out the door in a minute.
Yeah, it just went down there. So when does the next one come out, Jace?
The big one's at 12:48. It comes out this door.
Okay, that was the one, 12:48. If I go back here, I think it was the one we just watched.
Was it? Oh, sorry, I'll move on then.
Yeah.
So we sit in this office for about 10 minutes of footage, not really a lot going on. Sometimes you're just sat somewhere with a chair talking to a chair sometimes, Kev. So there's a bit of footage of me just...
It's what happens.
Yeah,
Listen,
yeah.
I would be kind of suspicious if everything you done, you got evidence. That wouldn't feel normal to me, because these investigations, Jimmy, you could do this maybe 10 times and get nothing, and then go back another night, do nothing different, but it all kicks off. You know, you can't tell.
I know. I mean, Jason is just in this one video right here, man. I mean, you got a whole bunch of stuff going on. How many videos you got over on your channel, man?
I've got 5 investigations and the picture investigations video.
Cool, man.
And I've got all the videos now, the 5 10-minute videos with the short evidence on, like the red orb, the blue orb.
Yeah.
The ghost boxing session in the zombie zone. That's quite a good one.
Now, what's this, a ghost box session?
Yeah. When we was in Drakelow, I'll come to that a bit later if you want.
Yeah,
because now I want to show you an orb. So we're talking to that chair for a little while. Then we go and walk around for a bit. It's me walking around tunnels in a dark place trying to find stuff to happen. Where do we go then? We have another vigil group, and then we go, oh, this is a good one. So if you would like to go to 20 minutes and 13 seconds, I'll go and sit in the side room. They're doing a vigil, and I'm really interested in it, so I'll go.
What was the time, sorry?
20 minutes 13.
Okay.
So we're sat in the side room now. There's loads of people doing a vigil. I think they're doing the holding hand ones and that, but I wasn't interested in that. So they're doing that. It's a lot of noise. Then they walk past us. Like I said earlier, it's so many tunnels in there. Within 45 seconds, that 40 people have walked past and they've disappeared, the noise. And then I'll start catching some good stuff in this room.
Right,
so you're here now. It's a little bit noisy because people are by the room.
I've put it to 20 minutes dead near enough, so we can watch it. Okay, we'll watch it from here and we'll take a little look.
So you can hear the noise. There's about 30 people in the tunnel next to me.
Is anybody here with us?
Whoa.
That was good.
Right, so that was a big one now. Slow it down. This is 5 seconds before it happens, so probably take 10 seconds to come on here.
Anybody here with us?
Whoa, what do you make of that, Jimmy?
Man, this is some good stuff, brother. How long? That was right when you walked in? Just right in that moment?
No, I was at the other end filming for a minute or two. Then there's some chairs at the end I've gone to now. No, actually, the chair's the other end, sorry. Yeah, I've just walked straight in and this has happened. Yeah, you're right, Jimmy.
And Jason, one of your other investigations, and I'll keep going back to this because I love it. And Jimmy, you'll like this as well. There's a whole heap of orbs in one of the places he goes to. And he blatantly says there, he's like, a lot of this is dust. This is dust coming in. You can see in the breeze. So it's not as if like the minute Jason sees any kind of thing in front of the camera, he automatically rushes to the whole kind of, oh, it must be woo. I love that there's a logical part in here as well where absolutely you're going to capture dust. There's weird lighting effects. Cameras pick them up weird. That's going to happen and it's going to look weird. But again, I think orbs are very real, but very different from dust, right?
Yeah.
Before we go on, Jimmy, what's your take on the orbs, man?
I don't know. There's been, honestly, the orb reports have seemed like recently, over the last 6 to 9 months, a lot of people have been reporting orbs, and just not people that are looking for them, even just regular people taking a bunch of orb videos on their phones. So it's kind of interesting that there has been this sort of uptick in the whole orb situation lately. I'm not sure, man. I mean, it could be some sort of a dimensional slip or something like that. I mean, just because it's a shape that's an orb, we're used to thinking in terms of human beings, but maybe things when things are not in the body, they don't look the same, and maybe an orb is potentially some sort of a soul or some sort of a dislodged spirit. I don't know. It's interesting stuff.
Some
And there's
sort of
different color ones too.
yeah. Jason's
Sometimes.
what was it? It was red and blue. You got they were the big ones, weren't they?
Oh, wait, Kev. If you go to 2255, I've got another coloured orb for you.
Okay, I'm gonna go to 22, and we're just gonna watch this minute. Okay, we're gonna build.
No, go to 2255 because this is just
Okay,
before. I catch
okay.
2 little orbs, and then 17, 20 seconds later, you'll see what's coming.
Okay, I'll put it normal speed first, right? And we're at 22:55 here.
55, yeah.
Is anybody here with us? Anybody whacked here?
Oh,
thank you.
wow.
Yeah, I seen you then.
Wait.
You still here? Can you show it? That's it. Can you show yourselves? Thank you. Did you work here during the war?
Whoa.
Yeah. Wow.
Whoa.
Another blue orb, Kev.
Whoa.
No, come on. That was like you were getting responses. There was orbs coming to questions there, man.
Yeah, that's why I like this bit of footage. I think it's one of my best bits.
Jimmy, talk to me. What do you think of that, dude? That almost looked like they were responding, man.
Yeah, that did. Are you RH negative?
I don't know.
I'm just curious. I mean, it'd
I'll
be
find
funny
out.
if you said yes. If you said yes, I'd be blown away, right?
Tell
You know
me,
what I mean?
good point. It could
Yeah.
be, but that we're gonna watch this again, folks. That was pretty cool.
Is
That was
anybody
cool.
here with us? Anybody whacked here?
One,
thank
two.
you.
That one that comes there just kind of materializes. It's so weird. Watch that again, folks.
Is anybody here with us? Anybody whacked here? Thank you. Yeah, I seen you then. You still here? Can you show it? That's it. Can you show yourselves?
Yeah.
Thank you. Did you work here during the war?
Now, Jason, that room gets lighter there. Is that anyone
Yeah.
walking behind you or something?
I think this is a point they come to get me because I shouldn't have gone
Right.
off on our own.
Good man, good
so,
man.
yeah. So they've come to get us
Yeah.
now, so we have to move on. But yeah, I've caught that blue orb, so that was quite nice.
Okay, hang on. Let's see now. I want to get back. I want to see the big orb again. Because we never got to see the big one again. Here we go.
Anybody here with us? Anybody whacked here? Thank you. Yeah, I seen you then. You still here? Can you show it? That's it. Can you show yourselves? Thank you. Did you work here during the war?
Yeah, you can see it getting lighter. It comes round from the side there, but hang on.
Yeah.
Whoa, man.
Yeah.
There you go. Boom.
Whoa. Good stop.
So maybe that wasn't the point where the lady come with the light then. So yeah, you're seeing that light and then this.
Yep. It's independent of that light.
Yeah.
Because that light comes before it, you know.
What, dear?
Comes round from the right-hand side.
Thank you. Yeah, I seen you then. You still here? Can you
There's an orb there.
Can you show yourselves?
There's the light source coming in now.
Thank
No,
you.
not quite, not quite. Hang on.
Did you work here during the war?
There it is. You see the light coming round that way, eh?
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
boom. Bang, dude. Bang. That is totally awesome. Luna, and she's from an Aboriginal person down in Australia, and very in tune with all this kind of stuff, and a lady spirit. You know, what did the blue mean to you? Because I know you've looked into this, Jason.
Yeah, well, I looked on 3 or 4 websites to try and get an average of them all. Most of them think the blue one is a spirit guide. It's your one of our two, because there's me and Karen there. It's one of our spirit guides. And this is the second time we've seen it, isn't it? Because we caught a blue one at HMP Shepton Mallet.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think there's something following us, maybe protecting us.
Well, if you have got a spirit guide, that would make sense, right?
Yeah, yeah. So
I think we're going to see more of this blue one. Not every investigation, but it's going to turn up more and more.
Yeah, it's turned up twice now. So maybe when I get out again, maybe ask it, try and get in tune with that and see if I can get it to come back.
Now, do you try and catch EVPs? Anything like that?
Yeah, I'm having no luck at the minute. I'm using a digital one, a real good one, but I thought it'd be really easy to catch a voice. For that guy I was talking about earlier, who's got 20 years experience,
now,
he said it's actually the hardest thing to do.
Is this the guy that everyone talks about called Huff or something like that? Is that the spirit box guy?
The bloke I'm following, he's got a channel. Is it North? I can't remember it off by heart. He's one of the guys, he's had his stuff put in scientific magazines. He's really, really scientific about his studies. Is it where's he from? I'll remember the name in a minute. But yeah, he was one of the guys that helped design the spirit boxes. And he's got 20 years experience, so he was giving me advice and stuff. So like I said, when I was on TFR, I'm not going to use an EMF because I don't really trust them with the electrics and the houses and stuff like that. Yeah. So he said, try a compass because that would be more true to magnetic fields and stuff like that. Yeah,
I don't know what it is with EVPs, but usually, and I'm tone deaf anyway, right? Bad. Can't even whistle a tune right. But I usually need to be told what the EVP says, and that always troubles me, right?
Yeah.
Because yeah, I hear it once you tell me, but I'm always left wondering, well, have you fed me that? Did it really say that? Do you think it is possible? I mean,
yeah.
You think
look at the guys who used the spirit box, the Welsh guys you had on. Yeah. That was amazing footage, wasn't it? That was really clear. You could tell what it was saying. I
was gonna bring them up because I think that's some of the clearest ones I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I think. And it'd be good if you could hook up with them for an investigation one time because they seem alright.
On Twitter, but it doesn't look like they really go on it much. So I'd love to get in contact with them.
Well, I'll give you Jared's email address. I'm sure he'd be happy to hear from you. But yeah, myself, my mum, my brother, his girlfriend, we went to Clava Cairns, the stone circle up near Inverness.
Yeah, I remember that video.
Yeah, and when we were doing it there, I must admit, I'm kind of on the fence with the spirit box when it comes to the apps on your phone. I don't think there's much to be gleaned there. They're quite fun. They're kind of harmless. No harm done. But I think, there is actually something to that science, to that method, that probably you could use it somehow. I don't know how it works. I don't know why it works. But you do see sometimes it's like intelligent responses. And that
Yes.
can't just happen randomly, Jason, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I have seen some good footage. If you look at Carmel, Maine, he's caught some half decent voices on his footage, hasn't he?
That place is, that's up there with Skinwalker Ranch for me, man.
Yeah, I think it's number one, that shadow video. I don't think there's anything else in the world like it.
No, I think we need to watch that one more time while we're talking about that.
Yeah.
Hang on.
So,
Carmel. You go for it, man. Keep talking.
yeah, so in a minute, so I've got this blue orb. So it's the second time I've had a blue orb. So in a minute after you've shown a bit of the shadow dude, we'll move on a little bit and a light goes on, a light ball. And I'll tell you why we use them and what they are. A lot of people are using these cat balls that light up. So you leave them in the dark and the lights go off if you ask them. So I've got a bit of footage to show you and a bit of a light going off.
So the light actually goes off?
Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. So before we get to that, right, let's take a look at what we were talking about there, because I know some people haven't seen this, but the first time you see this, it's going to blow your mind, and this is called the Shadow Dude. We'll play the first couple of minutes of this. It gives you the full thing. Here we go, folks. No, we're going to watch it on full speed.
I wanted to talk a little bit about a couple things here. Paranormal activity, this is something new to me. I haven't even really been involved with it just for a few months. I mean, I don't know much about paranormal activity investigations. I do check this house out. I do try to gather as much evidence as I can to show people that the spirit world is definitely real.
Okay, so this guy's got a house in Carmel, Maine, funnily enough. It's one of the most haunted places I've come across, and I know Jimmy needs to leave soon, and I don't want to keep Jason all night either. I'm going to fast forward this a little bit so we can see the shadow dude here. So, let's see, play it from here. Turn down the lights. Ooh.
Hello? Somebody up here?
Whoa.
Did you say something? Is that you making noise? Hello? Are you talking? What the hell is that noise? Son of a bitch!
Ooh, right. So that's the first taste of the shadow dude.
Noise? Son of a bitch!
But there's a far better one than that, and I'm not going to steal this guy's video. I'm going to drop it over in the chat room, and I'm going to get back to Jason. So, Jimmy, you need to go and get dinner, right?
Yeah, dinner's ready. I just wanted to pop back in and say what a great guest you had today, man. And this is fantastic, Jason. I can't wait to see some more.
Yeah,
for
Thank
sure.
you, Jimmy. Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. And everybody, hope maybe we'll see you tomorrow. I'm not sure. Kev hasn't.
We'll hook up for some early antics tomorrow, James.
Sounds good, man. Listen, everybody, have a good one. I'm just going to exit out stage left. Have a great night.
Much
later.
love, Jimbo. Now then, now I need to fix the camera there. If I do that, then we go like that. Look at that, folks. Just like that. It was done. Sorted. So we're back on your channel now. Wait till we come over here. Where are we? Where are we? There we are.
Wow.
So, where do you want me to go to now, Jason?
If you go to 26 minutes, we meet two other people in it. So I know one of
Now,
them's
before you go on, and I should have said this while Jimmy was here, I'm such an idiot. Folks, go and check out Jimmy's channel as well. He does a lot of streaming. He's got a crazy stream. He plays music. He plays bits of movies. But he's Jimmy Jeans, and I tell you, he's a lovable rogue. So go and hang out on his stream. It'll keep you going when I'm not streaming. And like Jason's channel, I just like to help people out. And if I can get 10 subscribers to Jimmy today and 10 over to Jason, that's all I help, right? So with that said, let me come back to you, sir. Where are we going?
So we're 26 minutes in.
Okay. 25:57, okay?
Yeah, so we meet two people at 20. Oh, actually, you might want to go further. No, 26:42, the light comes on. So we meet two others. There's a lady organising, she's got a guest with her. We talked to them. They're going to move on because they said not a lot was happening. And then a little ball light comes on at 26:42, so maybe just before that.
Okay, so I've gone to 25:57, so about a minute.
Okay.
That'll give us some context. Here we go.
Okay, yeah.
Around here? Oh, has you got lights in that here?
Yeah, the cat balls. They're everywhere. Yeah.
I think I'll sit down with this a minute.
I was just happy we could sit down for a bit, Kev.
I bet you, because it's massive right now.
Yeah,
I've seen
yeah.
something floating in the air there. Is that nothing to worry about?
I didn't notice it. Like I say, I've watched my videos, and every time I watch them, I
Hey,
notice
watch this.
something new.
I'm gonna slow it right down. You can just about see it there on the screen. Watch this. See it?
Is that little dot that's come back?
Yeah, see it?
Yeah, that was on an earlier shot. That was on earlier footage, and I just dismissed it as like a pixel dot.
No, that definitely. When that was in real speed, that was moving about. Hang on. Watch again.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cat balls. They're everywhere. Yeah.
I think I'll sit down with this a minute.
Or is it on the floor?
Oh, I know. No.
Work better
It's on the
with
Oh, I
floor.
know what that is, Kev. That is. Do you remember I told you they have the war games there?
Yeah.
And at night time they fire little tiny pellets that are coloured.
Luminous ones. Got you.
Yeah. So that's what that was.
See? Together we will absolutely get to the bottom of it. So we'll keep it playing now then. Here we go.
Yeah. So I'm asking them if anything's going on. They say no, not a lot. We're going to move on in a minute. So I just take over and start asking questions as I do.
Okay,
and
hang on.
then a light comes on.
Oh, I've lost the part, right? 25. Yeah, I'll get to 25. There we go.
26:42, the lights come on.
Here we
so
go. Here we go.
Anything happen around here?
There's magnets going on rapidly.
Oh, has you got lights in that here?
Yeah, the cat balls. They're everywhere. Yeah.
I think I'll sit down with
yeah,
this
so
a
they
minute.
use cat balls out on investigations, Kev. Now the little ones that light up when they move.
Probably work better with the lights off, don't they?
Not much going on with this. It was better in Ross Ridge. It was like in Irish. I think so. Because that feels like that way.
Were they from Birmingham?
Yeah. Round that way, Worcester way.
See, I'm telling you, man.
Can you set off any of the lights for us?
So they wanted to go, but I just started asking questions.
Quite right.
You set off
Yeah.
the balls? Who's here earlier?
Whoa!
That's it. It turns on.
Hang on, let's go back and listen to that then. Here we go. I'll put it back a little bit.
Can you set off any of the lights for us? You set off the little balls? Who's here earlier? There we go. Oh. Thank you.
And folks, before anyone gets excited about that thing floating about, that's a lens flare. Before people get excited about the blue one floating about there.
Can you turn it back off? Maybe you can turn the other one on.
There we go, and it went off.
Whoa.
Could you put
So,
it-
tell us, what's the score with these lights? Explain to the audience what they do, how they work.
They're little tiny cat balls. They're designed for your cat to move around at home, and the little light goes off when it moves. But they use them on investigations, try and get them as still as possible. And if any light goes on or off, it could be a spirit if we ask them. But like you see there, it actually turns off a little bit after I ask it, and it turns on, and then we get nothing after that.
Wow, no, I was in awe there. Billy in the chat room. She drove through Carmel in Maine the other day. She wants to,
Wow.
I want to be there, man. But yeah, absolutely fantastic, dude. That bit of footage there, I'm going to watch that one more time because I like it when we catch something that I think is worthy of the woo. And this is woo.
You set off the little balls. You was here earlier. There we go. Whoa. Thank you.
You know, folks, this is a really good lesson as well. You see a lot of videos talking about second suns and things in the sky, and you watch the way this lens flare acts and moves about. It's because it's that bright light source, and when you're filming up in the sky with the sun, that's why you get a similar effect. That's why when anyone shows you little pictures or still images of like the sun and then something weird, and it needs to be moving, because when it's moving you can see what you see here in a moment.
You was here earlier. There we go.
See how it kind of just
Whoa.
moves in tandem
Thank
with the
you.
movement of the camera, folks.
Can you turn it back off? Maybe you can turn the other one on.
Tremendous. Tremendous, Jason,
So,
man.
just to be scientific, I don't know how long these balls go on for, so that could have turned off itself. But the fact that it turned on then off quite quickly is interesting.
Beyond, I'm really impressed by that. Really impressed, dude. There was one on Most Haunted recently. I know you're not really a fan of them anymore. But
Yeah, we're all right, Kev. They just don't seem to like me on the old Twitter.
you know, I think the way they do it now, it actually could be more honest, because you're usually two of them with their
Yeah.
own cameras, and they keep
Yeah, I don't
cameras on
mind
each
it.
other. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was
I'm
one.
surprised they didn't try it earlier. Sorry to butt in. Yeah.
No,
go
no,
on.
no, not at all, brother, not at all. But there was one where Carl, Yvette's husband, was filming, and the piano behind them, it went ding, and it's all in shot. And I tell you, I've got the goosebumps thinking about it. But that light's going on there, that for me is the same kind of heebie-jeebies goosebumps effect. Like there's something in the room, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So there's only a couple of minutes left of this part one, and we do some tabletopping. Nothing's happening, and then they say turn the lights out, and the table starts to spin. Sorry, not spin, the table. When we turn the light back on, it's on an angle.
I had visions there of all of you holding onto this table as it started taking off,
Kev.
man.
And we turn the lights off, and when they come back on, the table's on its side because we're getting no luck with the lights on. So whether someone's pushed that in the dark or not, I'm not too happy about that. It's cool that it's on its side and then drops, but someone could have pushed that up in the dark quite easily, couldn't they?
Yeah.
I don't get the impression they did, but that's not great evidence.
So if we come to here,
Come on. Let's finish on a high.
Because the
Anybody
lady
here
said
use
sometimes
energy
it
to move
doesn't
the
tick
table?
because I'm filming all the light and it works
Sure,
in
she
the dark.
here.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, but if you look at the one I did at HMP, they're all doing it in the light, and it's really good, and the table ticks. So, but yeah, it is what it is. So that investigation finishes.
Okay.
The second one is more about, I had a lot of footage left. I had a bit of ghost boxing in the zombie zone, because the zombie area was in there. I found that part of it, and it's more, if you go to part 2, it's more atmospheric. It's like, I find... not much goes on at the beginning. We find a clerk's office. This one's more, I find the museum part where all the old posters are and all the old computers and radio things where they would have worked if there was a nuclear attack.
Yeah, for people in America, I mean, this is like our World War II version of Cheyenne Mountain, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
It really is. It's where we would have been running things from, where the government would have gone to, things like that. And Jason, do you know? I mean, where would they go now? I mean, where's our underground facility now? I mean, they must have one, right? I mean,
Yeah,
they've
of
got
course
to.
they have. They got more than one, because what I learned about this place is this is only the regional government office. So this would have been the government of the Southwest to continue it. So I'm assuming each area was broken up: Northwest, Northeast, Midlands, Kent, East Kent. Do you know what I mean? The East London would have to be on its own, wouldn't it?
But you look at this. I mean, that is your stereotypical haunted place, man. That's grim looking.
So this part of the investigation is more about some of the footage I had left. We done a box session in the zombie zone. It's like a mock-up of the game. It's all blood on the walls, and there's zombie blood all over the furniture. So we sat in there for a bit. But there's a bit that's quite funny, is where let me just find it. If you go to 24 minutes 50, I come across the zombie game body bag area, which is quite funny. Even though not much happens, it's just the way it looks. So yeah, it's just in behind there. So go walk. I wouldn't play the audio, I swear, a bit here, Kev.
All right, I'll turn it down.
Yeah, yeah.
Or I'll have to.
Yeah.
Well, I can do Morse code with that.
Yeah.
Anyone that does Morse, you know what I said there. Whoa, that's a bit dark.
Yeah, so
again,
this is where they have the zombie game.
Can I have a word with the algorithm for a moment? Algorithm. Oh, yep, you. But it's a mock-up. It's a game. It's not real algorithm. It's all make-believe. Sorry, yes.
Yeah, so this is the zombie area, where I can only imagine that when they have their nights, there's a lab somewhere, and then there's all different rooms.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, being chased in the dark.
Dude, I'd have loved to have known you were going there. I'd have got somebody to hang me up in one of these bags and jump out at you, dude. Oh, imagine it, man. That would put the heebie-jeebies right up you.
Yeah.
Look.
So not a lot happens in here. I just thought it's a fantastic place to do a bit of filming in, and a good atmosphere.
I tell you, it's not every day you get to see something like that, innit? No.
Yeah. Yeah, so this whole part of the tunnels is all the zombie labs, and the zombie zone, and the lounge where there's blood everywhere, and all the cabinets have got dripping blood on, and the walls have got blood all down them. And yeah, it was a bit spooky. It's about 5-6 o'clock in the morning now.
And folks, I'm going to give you a link for your channel here, Jason.
Okay.
Jason does the whole kind of algo in the chat room. Every time I do my little algo joke, he obviously responds, because we've got our very own algorithm. But what really got you moving on, and now you're doing the little short stories? Because I really love these, Jason.
Well, partly because I reached out to the YouTube studio for a bit of help on my channel.
Yep.
Didn't think nothing about it. And I got an email. Someone had a look at my channel. So they give me a few bits of advice, said change the name because it isn't very paranormal, which it wasn't. So I picked this name, which I like now. Then I decided that this summer I was going to start going to places like where the Hairy Hands was, and do a little 5-minute video on where it was, and then post a story with it. Because we've all been locked in, I thought I'll start doing some of the stories. I was going to do a little stream and read them, and I thought, you know what? Let's try and turn it into a story. So I had to go with the first one. It didn't turn out too bad, but I'm really happy with the second one, and I've got the third one coming this weekend, and I've already got the ideas for the fourth and fifth one. So it's part of the Dartmoor series and all what's around me.
Yeah, so folks, again, perfect time for YouTube. 10 minutes, little short stories of woo. Again, I'm glad you've started doing these as well, and it'll keep your audience like me entertained until you can get back out there and get investigating, you know?
So these are the places I will be going, because like I said, I was going to go over the moors, do the myths, do daytime videos, go back at night, explain what the place was. So I'm still going to do that. I'm just doing it backwards now. So...
But I hope you get to do the Lambs Inn still as well. Because,
so hopefully we still get to do that in July. Fingers crossed we'll maybe be allowed to sit with 5 people or more.
These pubs seem to have a lot of energy in it. And again, I wonder if
Yeah.
it's because of the alcohol that flows, the
Yeah.
spirits. I mean, we talk about, I often say that there's a point where I get drunk and I can't remember anything anymore, but I'm still
Yeah.
a fully functioning human being. And people tell me I've been doing this, I've been doing that. Oh, Kev, you were absolutely hysterical. Kev doesn't know what Kev was up to. Kev will never remember again. And I
Yeah.
wonder, is that Dave coming in? Does Dave take over? And by Dave, I'm talking about literally a spirit, because it is
Yeah, I know
almost
what
as
you
if,
mean.
yeah, a new person comes in, and I don't like that person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder if
It's
that's
an
why you
interesting theory.
yeah, I wonder if that's why you get energies around pubs, because people there are going to be susceptible to being possessed, for lack of
Yeah.
a better term.
And also, I suppose it's one of the happiest places and saddest places people go. They go there to celebrate and they go there to commiserate, don't they?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely right, man. But yeah, I have thoroughly enjoyed this night. I don't know what else you've got written down there. You've got notes.
Yeah, I've got one more thing you're going to want to see.
Awesome. Tell me, where'd I go?
Part 2 of the investigation. It's the very last 10 seconds, 43:38. So if you go 43:30,
Okay.
I'll explain what's happened. Just before I went in the medical room, done some filming, not a lot happening, creepy on my own. Walks straight back into the canteen. We're getting ready to go. It's like 7:45 in the morning now, and then I'll catch another orb.
Oh, so then here we go.
The chair or the table?
Where are we at the moment?
43:44.
Sorry, it's 45:38. So
That's
go back
probably
to
me.
45:30. Sorry,
Yeah,
Kev.
no, it's probably me, dude. I'm getting that excited here. I'm ahead of myself. There we go. I've put it back a little bit. 45:17,
Are
okay?
you with me?
So I've been hanging around the medical ward, having a look
I
round.
have to go now.
And then
Now,
I go back
is
to the
that a
canteen, like
reflection?
I
That's a
say.
reflection, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe you could show me on the way out.
So
Maybe
I'm
back.
getting ready to go out now.
This is the canteen where we've been for the night.
Whoa, that was the red one.
I've caught a red one.
Wow, hang on then, in case people didn't see that there. I'm going to put it on slow again. You really are, this is some, I tell you man, you've only been doing this a short time, and you're catching some orbs, Jason, you really are.
Yeah, no, I don't know if they're following me or.
It's
'Cause the red
interesting, isn't
one-
it? Right, here we go.
Yeah,
Canteen where we've been for the night.
Right, I'm going to put it back a frame.
the only thing I will say is, Kev, when the red orb comes, have a look at the table on whether it's a reflection off the table. See where that light is now?
Where that light is there,
Yeah, so I think it may reflect in the middle of the whole table. but
Okay,
we
hang
don't.
on. Whoa, hang on. Oh, wait a minute. We almost had it perfect there. I'm going to put it down even slower. That is a belter.
Yeah.
Right, it's going to change in a second. We'll get it. Here we go. Here we go. A little bit quicker.
This is the canteen.
Okay, now we'll get it.
we've been for the night.
It's like it comes out of there, right?
Yeah. Whether it's a reflection or some, because Karen's at the other end with her torch, whether that's caused it or.
And then you get that. Whoa. So
Yeah.
that's weird. It appears over there. That must be a reflection.
Yeah. Do you think? That's what I'm thinking. I'm trying to debunk it.
Only because
Yeah.
you watch it, right? Because it's that light on the chair or whatever it is, the reflection. As it comes up, it goes away. So that almost reacts the same, you know?
Yeah. So whether the light's bounced off the wall at the table and caused a red orb, I don't know. Or whether it's real.
That's two different things because that's
Yeah,
still there.
now you slowed it down to that. It's two different things, isn't it?
Yep, that's an entirely different
Yeah.
thing.
But like I say, Kev, I tried to debunk my own stuff, which most people don't try to do.
No, but I think that's, again, another thing that really is a winner in my book. It adds a whole lot more credibility to what you're trying to do. And every time we hook up like this, there's always orbs, and orbs fascinate me. They fascinate so
Yeah.
many people. And I get it. I'm the first to say, look, dust can do effects, and you heard me with my light lens flares.
Yeah.
But then there's stuff like this, Jason, that I can't explain. And it doesn't mean that it means it's woo, but it's weird, man.
Yeah. There is a part in the first video, I can't remember where it is now because I've got so many notes, where I'll climb through a really small hole. And as I turn around, there's thousands of orbs. But I just put my hand through it and I say that's just dust because it was.
There you go. When you disturb something, you're going to naturally kick stuff up. And
Yeah.
we might not see it normally during the day, but when you're at night and you've got a light source maybe on a camera, it's going to absolutely just... So
Yeah, exactly. But the blue one, or the red one, I can't explain it.
No, I'm with you. I'm totally with you, man. Totally.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people out in the chat, I'm sure they've got their own thoughts on what the blue and the red mean.
Yeah.
And again, I just think, like, when you said it's a spirit guide, whether it is or not, you don't feel threatened or anything, you know?
No.
So I would say, if it was anything bad, I would imagine your spidey senses would go. You know, that way when you can feel somebody looking at the back of you, you just know. I would expect if it was anything ominous. But again, I would expect you take care of yourself. I'm sure the groups you go with throw up a prayer and do all the rest of it. But dude, you have to keep doing this because this is good stuff.
Well, that actually brings me on to the very last point before we go, and it's an excellent segue, Kev. I told you that I'm back at my mum's for the minute, aren't I, looking after her through this madness. So
good on you, by the way. Good on you, man. Good on you.
Yeah, so that's where I seen the shadow when I was in my 19s or 20s, obviously, because where's where I was when I was younger. So I know the exact date. It was this. Can you have I think it's the 6th of April. On my second video of the tunnels, the day I uploaded it, I know exactly when it is. I've uploaded the video. I've gone downstairs. It's about 9 o'clock because you're on at 10.
Yeah.
So I've just put the video up. I think it's the 6th of April. Did I put it on that day?
Hang on. Yep, 6th of April. So
the reason it sticks in my mind is because I finished the video, goes downstairs, goes outside to have a PPP, and I'm watching my video. So it gets to the point in the video, I can't remember exactly where I'm asking in the tunnels for something to touch me. Now, the door behind me is almost shut. It's just ajar a little bit, a couple of inches. And I've got a hoodie on, and it's done up to the top. And all of a sudden, something pulls me, and the metal of the zip catches me in the neck. So I turn around with a fist, thinking there's someone there. And the door's still ajar a little bit. I'm thinking, did my mum pull me through? And I didn't, and it spooked me. So I've gone back upstairs, watched your show, and I thought nothing of it. And afterwards, when I'm going to sleep, I've turned off the light, got into bed, and I could just feel something in the corner in the exact same door that happened to me years ago. So then I'm trying to ignore it, but I've got this feeling that there's something in the room. And then it's getting closer and closer. Now I turn around, I can't see it, but I just know it's in the room next to me on the bed. So I turn over and try to ignore it, but I could just feel that it's next to me now. So I turned the light on, and I actually say out loud, I've had enough of this now. Now, you know, I've spoke to Bill Bean about this before, and he's helped me. So I got his book out, and it's the one that's got all of the connections one with all the prayers for the warrior prayers.
Warrior prayer,
Yeah, so I've read that out, done the Lord's Prayer, gone to sleep, and I felt like I got rid of it. So,
I mean, I don't know what it is, right? And it doesn't matter if you believe in the Wookiee, you believe in the Buddha. I don't care. You ask anyone when they're dealing with these kind of things in their home, it's the only common denominator. No two stories are the same. But when you hear people, whether they're invoking some frequency through the sound of that word, Jesus, whether it's literally calling down these warrior angels that Bill talks about, it works. And if you happen to find yourself in a situation, you know, maybe lying in your room, something weird going on, just try it. Just pray. Just literally try it and see if it works. And I bet you if there is something ooga booga going on, it'll get rid of it right away. And I don't know how it works. Bill Bean really, that's what I love about Bill as well. He doesn't claim to have some hotline to God. But whatever it is, it does work through him, and the advice that he gives people as a life coach, as somebody just to, get you a pep talk and get you going. Bill Bean's awesome. I couldn't think of somebody better, no matter what you believe in. And Bill's got time for everyone, as do I. And Jason, the chat room were asking me to really, really reiterate to you how good this footage is. It's one thing me saying it, but the audience, you're not getting a chance to read all of this. Algorithm. We know Jason isn't reading the chat, but please let him know how good it is. And it is, dude. So you got to keep going. And I know when you're on YouTube sometimes, right? It can feel like you're getting nowhere.
Yeah.
But then you're going to upload a video that you think's crap. You're not going to think about it. It'll be up there for a couple of months. And for some reason, somebody's going to post it on a blog. And that'll be the video that takes your channel to the next level.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
You don't just keep doing what you do, dude. Don't try and think to yourself, how do I get that big video? Never works.
Yeah. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, Kev.
That's it, man. That's it.
And as long as even if 50 people watch my little stories and I'll make 50 people happy, that's good enough for me, Kev.
You've seen us coming from the big channel, the bigger channel, hundreds of people. I prefer to do a quieter stream like this. People can keep up with the chat more. We can interact more. And listen, it's about quality, right? Neither of us are looking for fame. It's not about that. So numbers are... It's nice to know that people resonate with your stuff. But, dude, if you keep producing stuff like that, they will come. Trust me.
Yeah. Thank you, Kev. Thanks to everyone in the chat. It's been a pleasure to come on tonight. I've really enjoyed it, Kev.
I enjoy having you on, dude. We'll need to do it like literally once a month. And we'll just goof out with woo stories. I'll bring some Scottish ones and we'll have a great time, man.
Yeah, I've still got a few stories from the moors to do, and I haven't even started on Cornwall yet, Kev.
See, it's all to come. And folks, when I get mobile again, if I get a car, Jason better watch himself because I'll be going down there. And you'll be seeing some Jason and KBS simulcasting live from some really wookie places, okay? So, Jason, thanks again for coming on, man. Awesome.
Thank you very much.
And one last time, there's a link to part 2 of the investigation. You get that in there. There we go. And I'll give your channel out as well. Bring these all over here. And remember, folks, Jimmy Jeans, I'm going to pull his channel up in a second too. That's Jason's. We've got, is it Into the Microcosm, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cosm. Microcosm. There we go. There he is, the man himself. About the same amount of subscribers as yourself, Jason. So
yeah.
Here we go. There's Jimmy too. Jimmy, the man with the hats. He's a man of many hats, isn't he? He's a character.
Yeah.
But dude,
he is.
Thanks again. It's coming up for 2 a.m. over here now. I'm going to let you get to bed. You've been a star. Thanks to everyone for being here today. I'll be back tomorrow with an early stream with Jimmy. We've got Freaky Friday, which will be simulcasting on the Kev Baker Show 2 channel right here tomorrow. We're going deep woo. It's Bell 10. I'd love to see you all there. So until next time, folks, keep it real, stay safe, and keep your mind open. Keep looking for the woo, but not to the point where your brain turns to black goo.